Oasis Audio presents We Before Me by Mark E. Green, M.D. Read for you by John Mclain. To Cammie, thanks for 35 years of life together and for modeling We Before Me to the world. Foreword. Mark Green is a remarkable man who doesn't think he's remarkable. That is what I love about him. His book reflects who he is. It is genuine. It is understated. It is filled with truth. What is particularly surprising about We Before Me is the beauty of its stories and the powerful simplicity of its message. It is astonishing that it is written by a politician, but Mark doesn't consider himself to be a politician. He is just a representative of people who want what is true, good, and beautiful. More than anything else, this book is a remedy, a blueprint for our nation's recovery and revival. But it is not focused on economic or foreign policy, or on policy at all. It is about the character that is necessary for the people in a nation that wants to thrive. As the founders of our nation knew, it requires faith, integrity, and sacrifice, all things that Mark understands and embodies. Though I'd like every American to hear this book, I realize that is not a realistic expectation. But it is worth saying that if every citizen of this nation were to ingest and internalize the stories and messages in We Before Me, the country would be a drastically better place for everyone, regardless of their political affiliation or socioeconomic circumstances. And that is the point. We are one nation, one people, guided by one truth. And the pursuit of that truth requires selflessness. Patrick Lencioni, author of The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Introduction. This was their finest hour. In Great Britain's darkest days, when the island nation stood practically alone against a terrifying Nazi war machine that had already overrun much of Western Europe, Prime Minister Winston Churchill uttered those words to inspire and strengthen the resolve of the British people. Churchill addressed the House of Commons and the nation on June 18, 1940, at a grim moment of national crisis. France had just fallen to Germany. Nothing but the narrow English Channel stood between Britain and imminent invasion. In a few short weeks, bombs would be falling on London, and everyone knew it. In the conclusion to this iconic address, the great statesman sugarcoated nothing, but plainly laid out the nightmarish implications of failing to rise to the challenge of the times. What General Weygand has called the Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization. Upon it depends our own British life and the long continuity of our institutions and our empire. The whole fury and might of the enemy must very soon be turned on us. Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be freed, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves, that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour. Their finest hour. Please notice that Churchill appealed not to the individual self-interest of his countrymen. Instead, he appealed to their sense of collective identity. He called for courage and sacrifice, and asked that those monumental sacrifices be made not only for oneself and one's immediate family.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?